Hey everyone, this video is mostly about AWS Route 53. So let's get into the video. AWS Route 53 is a DNS as a service which is managed by AWS. You can say DNS as a service because we can say EC2 is a compute as a service and we are saying EKS as a Kubernetes as a service. So like the same AWS Route 53 is used for DNS as a service guys. So let's see what is DNS. DNS is domain name system, which is it resolves the IP guys, resolves the DNS to IP, which is domain name to IP, which is like if you are requesting to example.com, then it will route the traffic to some of the IP address like 10.1 dot some IP addresses. So it will be routing the traffic to some any of the IP address that is pointed to this domain. Okay, why we are using DNS? Because because IP address is tough to remember. Tough remembering. There will be a n number of IP address. We cannot able to remember all the IP addresses, guys. So for that, we will be using the DNS names. Other thing is IP address will be changing based on the home network. Change based on the home network it's configured, which means whenever any service or any server restarts, then the IP address will be changed. So we cannot able to directly point to the IP address. So it will be changing at different times. So for that, we will be like wrapping the IP address with the DNS name. So whenever the IP changes, the DNS name will be the same. It will be pointed to the different IP address that is created. So these are the 2 points we need to know why we are using the DNS domain name. In Route 53, we will be having a one thing called hosted zone. Hosted zone in which is in Route 53 will be configuring our domain here, guys. If you are using the example.com, if you are buying the domain from GoDaddy, if you need to route the traffic to AWS services or any services that is outside of the AWS, you can manage the records in Route 53, guys. Records management. For that, you need to configure the domain name here in the hosted zone. You should not configure the subdomain to the hosted zone. You should need to configure only the domain name to the hosted zone. Whenever you are configuring the domain name in the hosted zone, it will be giving you 3 different records like name server records, MX record, and another different records. So you need to configure this name server record to the place where you bought the domain. If you bought the domain from GoDaddy, you need to point this name server to this GoDaddy so that whenever the request from example.com is requested, it will come to the GoDaddy and it will go to AWS Route 53 and it will send a response, guys. So for that, you need to create a domain name in the Route 53 in the hosted zone, and then you need to create a records inside the hosted zone, guys. Mostly the hosted zone is used for maintaining the records. You can create record and you can maintain the records in this hosted zone itself. In hosted zone, you can create the AWS managed services records, just like load balancer records or amplify. You can configure the records here. Also, you can mention the outside of the AWS records also here. In this hosted zone, you can able to create and manage, guys. The second thing that Route 53 help is health check. After creating the record, it will do the health check for a particular period of time that you are configuring. Okay, so health check is also possible in the Route 53, guys. So next thing is routing policies. Routing policies, there are different routing policies. I will say first is simple routing, which is like it will route the request to a single endpoint, guys. Single endpoint. It will, which is like if you purchase the domain in GoDaddy, configured with the Route 53. In that Route 53, you will be having a record which goes to ALB or NLB. Okay. Whenever the request comes in, it will go to the GoDaddy and it will check for the name server based on the domain, which is if it's like example.com. It will check for the, it will go to the name server and it will go to the Route 53 and it will go to the domain that is configured. If you are requesting for app.example.com, it will go to that record and it will check the value for that, whether it's a name record or C name record, and based on that, it will route the traffic to the server, guys. So this is how it's work. Which is the single endpoint. First one is simple routing, which goes that route that request to the single endpoint. Second is weighted routing. Here you will configure with the predefined weights, guys. In when you are creating the record itself, you will be configuring with the predefined record weight so that the traffic will be routed to that particular service. So third one is latency based record, latency based routing. This is like it will send the request to the closest region for better performance, so that you will not be seeing any latency error, guys. It will, the request will be very fast and will be getting the response very fastly. The final is failover rate routing. Here, if I said like Route 53 will check health check, health check. Based on this, if any of the server down, it will route the traffic directly to the backup server which is configured. So it is automatically taken care by the Route 53, guys. So you will not be seeing any errors whenever you are requesting. So this is how, these are the different routing policies that the Route 53 is providing us, guys. So this is about Route 53. We will see the hands-on demo in the next video. Thanks.